Welcome back to Green is Good. I'm truly honored to have back on the show my friends and the founders of the Candle Café chain, Bart Potenza and Joy Pierson. Welcome back to Green is Good.
We are here for you, John. We love it.
Thank you, John, for having us.
Oh, it's a joy to have you both on. You guys have not only made the Shigarian family so happy with all the yummy and delicious food that you serve in New York City, but you've made the city of New York not only happy and healthier, but so much better. The city's so much better for having your great restaurant chain in New York City. And I know so many of your customers, and I see how happy they are. And the healthy food that you constantly serve on a consistent basis, it's just wonderful. And I'm one of your biggest fans, but I want to continue to share the word of all the great work and the mission and the journey that you guys are on. And that's why we're here today. But before we get talking about your new book that you just came out with, I want to share a little bit of your journeys and through your own eyes. Bart and Joy, can you share with our listeners who didn't have the opportunity to hear the first time you were on the show a little bit of how you came to being where you are today? What made you guys who you are today?
Well, John, my story is somewhat similar to yours. I was a customer, and I was so moved by the quality of the food and how it tasted and how it made me feel. I was a practicing nutritionist. I had a private practice, and I was working for physicians all over the Upper East Side. And I stumbled into Bart's place for lunch, and he couldn't get rid of me, John. He made me a sandwich. My life was never the same because I couldn't believe my energy quadrupled, my skin, my hair, my mental clarity, everything improved. And for me, it was like seeing a good movie, and I just wanted to share it with everybody. It was just such an awesome experience for me, especially being a trained nutritionist. And then the rest of the story, I think I'm going to let Bart take over because we met, and I worked for him at the Healthy Candle, which was on 71st and Lexington, a 500-square-foot takeout and delivery place. And then Bart and I found another location, and Bart played the lottery. Bart?
And?
1993, I played a combination of our birthdays, and we won $53,000 in the New York State lottery. Wow. So that became the seed money, literally and figuratively, for starting Candle Café over 20 years ago. The joke being we could have had a year on the beach or an 80-hour work week, and we chose the 80-hour work week. Now we're down to half that.
To keep people happy and healthy.
That's wonderful. And for our listeners out there that want to find Joy and Bart's great restaurant and see all the yummy and delicious food and healthy food that they get to serve every day to the residents of New York City, it's candlecafe.com. candlecafe.com. Of course, there are other URLs too, candlecafefoods.com and candle79.com, but candlecafe.com, you can find everything right there. So let's go in now. So today you got 3 wonderful restaurants in New York City. You also have a line of food that you're serving in Whole Foods. But what I want to touch on first today is your new book. Share the title of your new book and what the theme of your new book is. Joy, can you share that with our listeners?
Yep. Our new book is called Vegan Holiday Cooking from Candle Café, and it's a compilation of recipes that we've collected over the years for holidays. John, I don't even know if you know this, but during the holiday time, and this is since the beginning, we get booked solid. So we hate turning people away because, we love to feed everybody this delicious plant-based food. Sure. So we created the book to bring families into the kitchen because I think cooking together is a wonderful thing for everybody, and then to the table together because obviously as we've grown, sharing meals at dinner tables has been sort of a lost art. So we'd like to bring that art back because we find that sitting around the table and sharing delicious food and is really extraordinary, and especially because of holiday time. But John, this book, although it's holiday cooking, these recipes can be used any night of the week. And it does have some really fun, different types of holidays, not just Christmas and Thanksgiving, but we have Super Bowl Sunday, and we have Cinco de Mayo, and Easter brunch. So it's got a lot of really fun recipes in here that really do help us celebrate on many levels.
Was it challenging to create a holiday recipe book as opposed to the day-to-day plant-based eating that we all enjoy right now? Was it more challenging to do holiday recipes, plant-based wise?
I think plant-based holiday was really important to me because, as you know, in being in the restaurants and people coming in to do a lot of takeout, bringing our food home for the holidays, realize that it's been very challenging for the plant-based eater to go home for the holidays. So there was a lot of joy in making this book so that people could really celebrate and not have to feel compromised, because there's no compromises, and these are guilt-free indulgences, and a lot of them have history in terms of their recipes that are traditional but veganized.
You know, Bart, you guys have created a family feeling at the Candle chain. When I walk in and our family walks in, we're treated and welcomed like family. My brother flew in from California a couple months back, and he couldn't believe he was sitting at a table alone, and the manager walked by and said to him, "Hey, Carney," and that's my brother's name, Carney Shagarian, and he couldn't believe that the manager, who doesn't see him regularly because he comes in only when he's in town, just called him out by name. And he said, "I just felt so welcome there." So talk a little bit about how this is part of your DNA and culture, how you include your family and kids in the kitchen, and how you made a book that extends your culture that you've already created in your restaurants.
The DNA is the right word, John, because the more I look at Joy and myself, we're doing it 27 years, it's like the cliche goes, it comes naturally to us. I think a lot of other people need to learn that thing that we do intuitively, instinctively, and spiritually. I just read a document recently about how you bring that to any work environment. I mean, the point is, there's no other way to work in our way. The pressure of doing it is intense enough. And if we don't make it a happy and loving environment to make it for our own sake, as well as our friends and clients and staff, then there's no point to it in the way we feel about it. I think Joy would agree with that. It's a day-to-day challenge, though. Joy always says, we're as good as our last meal. We're in our 30th year right now. And I know every day feels like day one. And maybe that keeps our edge on. It keeps us excited about it. You know, new menus, new organic farmers coming in, new commitments, new staff members, growth ideas. You know, we have a frozen food line as well in Whole Foods. I don't know if your listeners know that.
Share that. Share a little bit of what they could find at Whole Foods, Bart. Share a little bit about that.
Okay.
Joy's got that one.
In Whole Foods, we have a ravioli in a red sauce. We have a ginger miso stir fry, a seitan piccata, and a macaroni and cheese. And they're in the frozen section. They're frozen entrees, plant-based, organic, and you can find them in Whole Foods across the country.
Some of the best macaroni cheese in the entire planet.
And I'll pick it up in case anybody wants to know what we look like.
Real comfort food.
Hey, look, before we leave the book, Vegan Holiday Cooking from Candle Café, where can our listeners buy it? If they're listening right now and they want to enjoy the book and the recipes in it, where can they buy that book?
You should be able to get it at any local bookstore, or you can get on Amazon.com and get it. And we do sell it at all three of the restaurants if you want to come by.
Perfect. And if you want to learn more about Candle Café and all the great food that they serve, it's candlecafe.com. Let's now shift the topic a little bit to a topic that I know is very, very near and dear to both of your hearts. The amazing work you do with regards to bringing plant-based foods to our desperately in need school system. Can you share what you're doing with the Coalition for Healthy School Foods?
Yes, Bart and I both sit on the board. I'm actually the board chair for the New York Coalition for Healthy School Food, and we're bringing plant-based options into the schools. There's an alternative menu, and John, we have our first vegetarian school in Queens. It's very exciting, and they're really attendance, academic scores, everything is shifting for them for the better. So it's really quite a sample school, and it's in Queens. It's PS 244. And we're in schools offering kids a plant-based option and then teaching them and their families. I've got great stories about when I go to schools and we do family dinner nights. And I had a woman jump on the table and tell me that her weight went down, she's no longer diabetic, her cholesterol went down, she's no longer asthmatic, and she had all this positive just as a byproduct of us working in the schools because her son is in our program. So, and it's been revolutionary because at first, when I first joined the board over 10 years ago, they wouldn't even let us in the cafeteria. And now we're being embraced by the DOE, Department of School Food, to develop recipes with them and to work as their partners in changing the way kids eat.
Two questions. If there's listeners out there that want to learn more about how to bring healthy plant-based foods to their schools, whether they're sitting in Madison, Wisconsin, or in another borough in Brooklyn, New York, how can they engage with your great organization to learn how to bring plant-based foods into their schools?
You could contact me directly at joy@candlecafe.com, and I will put you in touch with Amy Hamlin. She's the director of the program, and she runs all the programs in the schools, and we can get together and see how we can change the world, John.
How about for our great listeners out there that want to support what you're doing? Is there a way to donate or help support your Coalition for Healthy School Foods?
Yes, I get on the website and you can hit donate, and that would be awesome.
Perfect. And I know you guys have some of the hugest hearts of two individuals I've ever met in my life. I know it goes way beyond the Coalition for Healthy School Foods. What other organizations is your Candle Cafe at chain and yourselves involved with regards to all the great important work that you do in the community?
Well, this very week, tomorrow night, we've catered and doing the food at Cipriani for the Humane Society event
of the United
States. So we do that every year. Our chefs have consulted with what we'll call traditional chefs and taught them how to present vegan food, which is SOP at a Humane Society event. And just to give it a context, people are paying $1,000 a plate just to attend the event. So there's another piece of this. This thing can be taken upscale in more ways than one, as you can tell. We still have the stigma of the old hippie image around health food and veganism and so on, but we have proven with all three restaurants that you could take this to a whole major level, including fine dining with fine eco wines and eco bars and craft beers, etc. So we one of the things you've picked up on, I think, John, by coming to us all these and knowing us, we've taken this to a whole other level that most people, I think, were not able to and were too terrified to try. So if I would say, I just thought of this, we're really proud that we've done this, for sure.
And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Humane Society of the United States.
Sure.
Also, John, on our box of frozen food, Farm Sanctuary and Humane Society of the United States are both recipients of money based on sales of that food. So we are...
and Farm Sanctuary is on that box, too. So
and Bart's very involved with SVN, Social Venture Network, as am I, and also the Green Restaurant Association. Bart was the first person to bring composting into New York City, and he taught other restaurants out of the beauty of his heart. He taught other restaurants and for saving the planet for your kids and our grandkids. And but he set up composting at other restaurants for them and taught them how to do it. And we were the first restaurant in New York to compost.
Wow.
Guess what, John? They don't compost bones. You can't do bones. just veggie.
Hey, for our listeners out there that just joined us, we're so excited and honored to have with us today Bart Potenza and Joy Pierson. They are the owners behind the great Candle Café chain in New York City, and you could also find them in the frozen food section of Whole Foods, coast to coast. Bart, you just touched on something a little while ago that's fascinating. 30 years you and Joy have been doing this. Can you share the evolution, if not the revolution, in the people? Of course it had that crunchy, hippie, meaning back then. How has it evolved? Because I come in your restaurants. You come into Candle 79 and go sit upstairs at lunchtime. It's not hippies upstairs. It's the Upper East Side hoi poi up there. It's the high-class ladies of the Upper East Side. Share a little bit about who some of your clients are and how that's evolved over the 30 years.
Right. Well, I think the whole movement has been, as it is now, is very media-friendly. Now the data goes by in the New York Times or in the press, so media, there's some other news story about why you got to eat your veggies, whether it's the obesity in the world, in the country, the diabetes, etc. But I think, I've said it recently, it's not about bragging, John. People want it. And the people who do come in are literally the shakers and movers of the planet. And then the other part that's influenced Joy and myself, we've had the pleasure of feeding Colin Campbell, Michio Kushi, all the other great, Edelstein, Edelson.
Yeah.
All the other great people. So we've been open to the idea of embracing their ideas and their concepts and integrating them, of course, into our restaurants. So it's a user-friendly atmosphere, as you can hear. We're all sort of falling over each other, saying, what can we do? How can we do it better? Where can we go with it? Joy's doing a book signing event today at the ABC Carpet stores in New York. And that's a whole other realm of people that we connect with.
And I know how humble you both are, but I mean, I'm just a visitor and a happy guest at your restaurants. But I see other thought leaders in there all the time, legends like Gloria Steinem, Bill Clinton. I saw James Cameron filming some discussion on veganism and why it's become important to him. I mean, these are some of the thought leaders
amazing.
John, I mean, you guys rock.
That I said to him, decreases your carbon footprint by 25%. He said more than that by adopting.
John, he brought 41 people back for dinner the next night.
I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, but that's what's going on, and you guys are leading the revolution, which is so exciting. And that's why we're just so honored to have you guys here today. We're down to the last couple of minutes or so, and I really want to leave this to you. There's so much of the story to share, and with regards to the local and sustainable produce that you guys use and how you support local farmers and the catering that you guys do to the important organizations, like you said, about the National Humane Society. I'll leave the last couple minutes both for you guys just to share some of your thoughts and vision of not only where we are today, but where you're going to take this in the months and years to come.
That's a loaded question. Go ahead, Bart.
Oh, well, honey, double handoff here, huh? Well, there should be more cookbooks in the realm. And it seems like the frozen food line has the potential of expanding quite a bit. Actually discussing bringing something on board in January, which will be what would
ravioli
you call it?
Bag.
Ravioli in bags, like a bulk version of the box, et cetera. I think a lot of what we do is chef-driven, and I think, John, and this could be another show, but with all the things going on in the country and the world with droughts and shortages and stuff, we might have those kind of challenges on our hands as well. We have to really work with what we can get. This time of year it's just about ending, but in the New York area we get all the local farmers. In the wintertime we got to go out to where you are. And I hear there's not a carrot to be had out there with the drought. What do you say?
There's not. They're all gone. It's crazy.
But I think you, Bart, have developed some beautiful relationships with farmers over the years here. I'm so proud of our farmers because obviously, John, it takes a village. We talked about the employees and it takes our wonderful chefs and everybody, because it's all that energetics throughout the room, from the dishwasher to the person who serves you to the person who prepares it. It all makes a huge difference. So we're hoping to continue what we do and to keep spreading that so that it does give you such a good feeling and it nourishes on body, mind, and spirit. And we hope that we can continue to do that and continue to show people how delicious this food can be, because I think it's got some preconceived notions about our type of cuisine that we're debunking.
For our listeners out there, to find the Candle Cafe's food and the books and everything else that they're selling, candlecafe.com. Vegan holiday cooking from Candle Café at great bookstores in your community or on Amazon.com. Bart and Joy, thank you both for being inspiring visionaries and making the world a better place. You both are living proof that green is good.